All right, Thursday evening edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. It's the Valley's most detailed weather forecast video. We have lots of fun, detailed stuff to talk about this evening, even though the weather pattern remains awfully quiet. So far in September, it's been feast or famine when it comes to precipitation. Wanted to show you the daily breakdown of our totals at the airport anyway in Vienna and Trumbull County. We've had 3 days with pretty big amounts. Over an inch on the 2nd and on the 13th, and over 2 inches back on the 7th. Every other day has been either dry or there's just been a trace of precipitation. So thanks to those big days, we are an inch and a half above average for the month. But that's a little bit deceiving considering now we've had 11 consecutive dry days in most of our area. I dug back through the record books to find long rain-free, precipitation-free streaks going back to 1960 anyway. And the longest streak I found was in 1963 in October. 25 consecutive days with no precipitation. 23 days in August into September of 1995 and back in 1964 as well. Generally a theme here. Second half of August, September, October. That's the time of the year which we are most prone to having real long stretches of dry weather. We can have big rain events at this time of the year, as we've seen so far this month, but this time of the year also you're more prone to seeing big sprawling areas of high pressure just drifting across much of the eastern U.S. and providing us with pretty benign weather, and we've certainly seen that so far this September. We're at 11 in a row now. I suspect we're going to make it 14 in a row with a dry forecast now through Sunday before rain chances start to ramp up next week. Today started with some clouds across the area, but the sky brightened considerably this afternoon. Turned out to be a nice afternoon, a little taste of summer out there officially, even though we're into fall. It felt and looked a little more like summer this afternoon. Kind of a hazy sunset this evening. Clear skies will be the rule for a good chunk of the night tonight. Precipitation remains well off to our south. This kind of mess down across the Carolinas, Georgia, Tennessee Valley. This is what's left of the remnant moisture from Beta. Remember that was a tropical system several days ago, and what's left of that is still just sort of drifting through parts of the southeast. Back here at home, we've had some chilly Friday nights for high school football of late. This week will be an exception, though. This will probably be our warmest Friday night for the rest of the season. That would be my suspicion. Kickoff temperature, still in the lower 70s. Mid-60s at halftime Friday evening and closer to 60 by the end of our local games. And yeah, we've got a dry forecast for Friday night, for Saturday night. Heading into Sunday as well. You get the idea. Smooth sailing through the weekend. This is going to be a nice weekend to get outdoors. It's probably summer's last hurrah for us. Now we have 81 in the forecast for both Saturday and Sunday. Good deal of sunshine both days. I say this is likely summer's last hurrah because we've got a big pattern change that's going to evolve next week, and it gets harder and harder to squeeze out 80-degree days, of course, as we get into the month of October. Now, that being said, the last 80-degree temperature of the season has occurred in October over the last 3 years. It was on the 3rd last year, the 10th 2 years ago, and the 7th in 2017. The 30-year average, though, is actually close to this weekend's date. Sunday's the 27th. That's probably going to be our last 80-degree temperature this year. 30-year average is on September the 28th. All right. As we've been talking about all week, big changes ahead for next week. I've plotted up not only the temperatures, but those black lines on this map show the freezing mark at 5,000 feet above our heads. That's a level we like to look at when we are thinking about trying to forecast any sort of frozen precipitation. And this is at the end of next week on October the 2nd. I think it's going to be possible across parts of the Great Lakes that some sleet pellets, some graupel, some snowflakes, something other than just rain may fall out of some lake-enhanced clouds, most likely aimed more like at Michigan, Wisconsin, and maybe northern Indiana. But as far to the south and east at this early stage of the game, I wouldn't rule out the idea that we might see something other than rain coming out of some clouds late next week with this very chilly air coming down. The question in the longer range is how long does this last? This cooler air mass, there it is, it comes in, and it's probably at its strongest next weekend, that first weekend of October. We may have a couple of days where highs are in the lower 50s. It looks very chilly. Beyond that, the latest run of the European ensemble model system here keeps the chill around through about the first week of October. The warmth stays bottled up out west. What happens beyond the first week of October? That's a low confidence thing at this point. There are various ideas presented by the models. I think it will become at least less cool beyond the first week of October. Whether we have some sort of mid October heat wave or something like that. That, of course, remains to be seen, but I think it'll, at the very least, be less cool beyond October 6th or 7th. But that first week of the month, it's going to be a complete opposite of last year. Last year, I just showed you we had our last 80-degree day on the 3rd. Well, on the first day of October last year was 88 degrees. Completely flipped pattern as October begins this year. All right, thanks for watching the Thursday evening Weather for Weather Geeks video. Don't forget you can always watch these on Facebook, on Twitter, on my YouTube channel. Make sure you're subscribing to my stuff on YouTube. And you can always find these on my weather blog as well, which is in the middle of getting a little bit of a redesign. Once the redesigned weather blog launches, though, ericwfmj.com is the place to go to find not only these videos, but my written weather blogs as well.